office buildings. We are proud to say that we are completing the first phase this year. We added a public safety wing up at the sheriff's office that will now house, that campus will now house all of the public safety departments, probation, our emergency operations center, which used to be in Broadway in the basement that actually flooded the first time I had to call a state of emergency. We were literally walking around in water in our emergency operations center. So we've consolidated everything up there, which was relieved the burden at the Broadway offices, because the ultimate goal is to move the remaining offices from Broadway over to, or from the annex building, excuse me, over to the Broadway offices. So we have that first phase done. The second phase, like I said, is to redo, or I don't think we're going to build new, but I think we're going to gut and rebuild it with the current structure there. But right now, that planning phase is ongoing. Should be done by October, and will be included in our capital plan in 2017. What else do I want to say about that? That's pretty much it. I mean, we're plugging along. It's going to take a long time, but we're trying to find efficiencies and save some money there. Capital projects, there's an update in here on roads and bridges, what we've been doing in 15, 16, and 17. So you can take a look at that. I won't bore you with those details. Just from a broad...
Hey. Those aren't boring details.
I know. So in just last year, the county legislature adopted a capital plan that reflects $4.7 million in capital improvements. This is a good one. You'll probably get a couple chuckles out of this. I got the call one day in my office that there was an issue up at the jail. Apparently, the 4 inches of insulation that were supposed to be under the roof were never put there a long time ago when that building was built. Well, that has cost us an estimated $30,000 every year for about 20 years. You can do the math. So we are fixing that roof. That was $900,000. We are doing 2 bridges this year. The county has over 90 county bridges, 45 of which are structurally deficient. So we're trying to do 1 or 2 bridges a year. We have 2 going on in the town of Canajoharie this year at McEwen Road and South Buell Road. That's with a price tag of about $1.7 million. DPW equipment. We have a 15-year-old Great All and 2 dump trucks that are pushing 20 years old that are being replaced. And then we had another mandate from the state. State says that we had to do all our prescriptions online at the jail. Our traditional way of doing it wasn't sufficient anymore in the state's eyes. Well, making that update was $230,000. Yes, sir.
Are we still bringing in prisoners from other counties and billing the other counties for it and showing a profit on it?
I wouldn't necessarily say a profit, but yes.
Well, why aren't we making a profit on
Why I don't say profit because the jail is incredibly expensive to run. It helps offset. It definitely helps to offset costs. But I'm not convinced there's an actual profit being made. I'm trying to dig into those numbers right now.
How about privatizing the jail, going with Corrections Corporation of America? I've heard that's a very good company. It runs efficiently and reduces costs to the county. Of course, it wouldn't be politically correct for you.
Well, I'd be open to that, but the one thing that is I learned really early on is that while I am the executive and I'm the chief elected person, the jail and the sheriff's office is the sheriff's domain, and he's an elected person, and that would have to be something that the sheriff would be behind. And I can say without a shadow of a doubt, I don't think the sheriff's behind that idea right now.
Even if it was economically feasible?
I'd love to see numbers on that. That's the first I've ever heard of that. But I think, yeah, that'd certainly be a big one.
All right.
We have another, obviously, the number of our bargaining units and people we employ up there would be an issue as well. Another public safety capital improvement that we're doing is we did emergency management radio and communications upgrade. The goal is to be, by the time it's all said and done and fully implemented, not just our public safety officials, but DPWs, school districts, everybody can be connected on the same frequency, can communicate with each other from across the county with the hopes of improving response times and hopefully saving life and property. But that was $1.3 million for this communications upgrade. Jeff Smith has been taking the helm of this, and if I know Jeff, This will be on time for an October 2016 launch. But every fire department has completed the meetings, and the frequencies have been secured, and all these complicated technical things that I don't understand for a second are being done. So that's moving forward. Just a brief update on our capital plan. The next one is the local government efficiency as part of the governor's tax freeze plan, which some of you might have got a very modest check from the state of New York. Essentially what he did is if you stay under the tax cap and do a government efficiency plan, the state would reimburse you for the increase in property taxes you had. So which is a little gimmicky, but the good news that came out of it for us at the county is we really put a lot of work into our government efficiency plan. The thing that I'm most excited about right now, especially for the towns and villages and city in the county, is our records management project, which is twofold. It's, and I'm sure you have in here, rooms with files and files and files. The first step is to digitize files across the county, not just at the county, but in all the municipalities, and save them digitally, so then we can save some space. But also electronic content management system, which comes along with that. So when you're doing your civil service pinks or the things that go back and forth from us to you and back, it won't be snail mail anymore. They'll be all done online. It will improve efficiency. It's also going to help us at the county with a lot of our internal processes, putting them online and getting rid of all the damn paper. I always joke that we're trying to drag the county into the 21st century as far as using the internet and technology. There's a few other items on here, but that's the one I'm really excited about right now. And then I will talk about, we did talk about the building plan and how we have this big plan to go over the course of a few years, but the buildings that we're going to stay in and that won't be affected by this plan, we brought in a company called SmartWatt, which did an energy efficiency upgrade that's estimated to save us about $1 million over the next 20 years. Essentially, we've also offset some of the costs for this with a $134,000 grant from National Grid. But essentially what this does, this is different than your typical capital spending. You identify areas where you can be more efficient, save some money, and then you use those targeted savings to pay for the increases. So essentially we're paying with savings things that we all know we needed to do anyway. So the estimates with the upgrades, we're looking at reducing our electricity costs by 24%, natural gas by 23%, and water by 25%. Water by simply putting things at the jail, and so an inmate can't just leave the water running or keep flushing the toilet. There's now going to be stoppers on those things, because we pay a pretty penny to the village of Fultonville for the water. So reducing the consumption is ultimately going to save us money. Things like lights, boilers. This year we had a boiler go in the old courthouse. We had to relocate offices for 2 weeks, get in there, handle the asbestos on those. And the boiler that's in the annex building is actually older than that boiler. So we're replacing things like boilers, windows, and things of that nature. And I always said this was something I don't understand why it wasn't done at the county 10 years ago. But we got it done, and we're looking at some savings there. The last portion of this speech, I know thankfully, is usually the portion where people's eyes glaze over, or just some of the organizational improvements. You'll see here, there's a picture of a young lady who works in the treasurer's office. As you can imagine, people that come in the treasurer's office aren't always the happiest people in the world, but this is Jennifer. She always handles herself very well. Is a great employee. She's got young kids. She goes to school at night. And she won our first peer recognition award. One of the things that I did at the county when I first started was trying to, have consistency in departments, which meant changes, which meant making people come in on time and all those things that made you be like kind of the evil boss. But I didn't want to be just the evil boss. I want to try to do things to support people. And the peer recognition program was one of them, and Jennifer was our first winner. And then we also actually just handed out our second one. Another one of our goals is strengthening client-partner relationships, whether it's a business in our economic development office, municipality, or whatever it may be. Trying to strengthen those relationships was a priority that the department heads outlined. And one of the things that I'll say that's of note here is when we look at one of our program areas in social services, for example, the food stamp program, over 70% of our clients were from the city of Amsterdam. So the next question is, why are we paying people to go back and forth from Amsterdam to Fonda all day long? when 70% of the people you're serving are in one area that you're not. So we opened up a satellite office in Amsterdam, which also further eased the burden of the Broadway office and the amount of people and parking we need over there. But it's also the rent, the utilities is reimbursed at about 80% from the state. So it was actually a good financial move, saved us money, and is improving efficiency in DSS. Where actually it's worked out so well, we're going to be looking at a potential, another county satellite office in the western part of the county, potentially Fort Plain or Canajahari. But we're still looking for sites and still open to that right now. But that was something that came out of the ideas from getting everybody together and talking. We try to be proactive with labor management, so issues don't end up in grievances and then eventually arbitration where you're paying lawyers. And sometimes it's the little things. I always joke about this. Caroline, who some of you might know in our personnel office, was an absolute sweetheart, used to do her orientations one by one, and some days she would be literally doing orientations all day long. Well, one of the changes we made is that, Caroline, why don't you do them in groups? Let's have a group orientation process. So we set that up, and now she does 5, 10 of them at a time and doesn't spend her whole day doing orientation. So sometimes it's the little things. We're also updating all of our county policies and procedures. And lastly, we put a renewed focus on risk management and employee safety. Rather than going out and paying for services, we're utilizing the unions, we're utilizing our insurance broker, our insurance carriers, our workers' comp broker. All these free trainings and free resources we meet in committee, we pool the resources, and we're trying to do a better job at that risk management and employee safety, ultimately to try to reduce our liability. And with that said, it comes to the end of my talk. I hope I didn't bore you too much, but I obviously, and I'm biased, but I obviously feel like there's a lot of good things at the county. I've certainly not been perfect. Since I got there, we've made mistakes, but I think on the whole, we've been doing, the team has been doing a great job, and by all means, if we can help with grants, if there's something we can help with, we are here to help. Please don't be shy to contact us, and we'd be happy to go from there. And if you guys have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Yes, sir.
Is there anything in the road plan that would help this town with too small a town building and a congested court system?
No, that's not necessarily.
It's very important to this town.
I know, I was a little hesitant on talking about our county office plan, I'm not gonna lie. But, no, with all kidding aside, that's something that certainly is not in my purview at this point. Yes, sir.
I've got 2 questions. So one, writing municipalities
Yeah.
with workshops regarding power. Who will I get with that?
Bill Roy, just same gentleman. Yeah, the county issued an RFP for Bill.
So I see.
And Amanda, they'd be happy to help. The county is getting inundated with social companies right now, both residential and commercial. I caution everyone to make sure we're I's dotted and T's crossed. And we're actually looking at now a pilot program for just solar fields, because I have a hard time justifying to you folks that a company might come in, set up an agreement to make money off of solar on a zero particular property, and they pay taxes for 15 years.
Another question we have, talk on Fulton, have Montgomery County, the only counties under a goal. Flat tax and welfare benefits, the residents versus other counties that have for appraisal.
Flat.
My
Back. What do you mean
tax,
by?
when I get my taxes, my taxes, Will County taxes, there is a flat tax for social service, Medicaid. Flat rate, I believe, so other counties have, it's a, all counties do not flat rates.
I thought it was a.
Fulton County, flat rates, is take both county and Montgomery County, counties, today, as far as I know. This guy,
I'd like to see, sir. Stuff down. Follow. Yes, sir. Oh.
Just say it. I'd like to go like that. I left messages many months on how all Sarah town several messages money we could, the paying fund could contract coop. You never that they're back for the fire. The big fix. They called me. It's a lot of money. $1,000. That's a big. It's actually money. It's $100, isn't it? The fire contract. You should. I
Question it.
no, but
I don't know.
So
I-
I'm just
I
not
left
sure
two
what I
yourself.
about the call.
I mean, message line. I have a plan, so that will doesn't work. Cool. But I have all your fire.
Do you have for
This,
Matt?
yeah, for contract. That with you
I have a question?
about a year and a half. Yes. Matt and I
I knew you knew.
about $250,000 and county. I'm talking about I called left 50,000 just for you or something. Never. Two
If you looked at it, we talked, not to go that right now.
Go that route.
Decided not that route. Honestly,
Why would you?
my hands full. A lot of other, because I got, it's not something I forgot about. It's your things. It's the timing and then I forgot to do
You just
that. But
a non-profit, you know, not paying.
it's not right.
So I talked about, I mean, the company that taxes, account, the taxpayer, here's a, they deny one, I mean, they, here's roads, provide, and
Well,
one,
I
you
will,
know, plow
this
the.
is my understanding is there's gonna be changes. I will do their understanding, the city of Amsterdam coming up, just Palatine role, a lot more, Amsterdam. I just doing, I feel like if we're right time to, you know, I'm not, I don't think it's supposed to, yeah, be pushing. I'm not saying the timing was that idea, right, but
Or really
just,
just you can tax.
it's not.
Or even, they could even down that, you know, same company.
I
Easily
I
paid.
think it's a good idea.
I'm here a couple.
Don't disagree.
If you wanna
Disagree.
talk about it. Not more months.
Any questions for
Yes, sir.
Matt, I just,
any of
thank you, I think he came out and did,
Sure.
I just want to say,
Thank you.
great day this night, yeah.
Happy again, just so.
Yeah, I echo that.
I am doing it again.
Thank you.
And I honestly,
I'll
we're
just-
going to do 20 on the state of the county next year. Don't know. I will see. Everyone's always available. Please, next. Thank you.
Thank you.
If you want.
Yeah. All right, so let's go back to reports. We'll finish reports. Let's go and the report go into public up the rent. And one then go comment agenda and Art more. Would you like to do a report for the planning amendment?
Oh.
Do a board?
We've had several that have come up. Well, first, I want to deal with this issues. First of all, making a lot of arrests. We've through the youth benefit, we've tried doing, and we've gone picking and choosing a little different time. We're using from the towns up. I'm sorry, Johnson, Mulvin, Florida, and I guess down. In any case, we got a good report from Boston, and we also were using their support for Boston, hopefully, and we're trying to the best of everybody else's, and we're going to refine everybody fit our needs. There's then a lot of finding simple things like debt machines and things that a lot don't pertain to. We have to definitely each and every that with each risk of the town. There's several issues that come up. There's with a tower that somewhere is to issue install a whole 60-foot Sullivan one. And from what I'm seeing, find out the tower, it's nothing what I call over 30 foot, so we're going to deal with that. And a lot there's some snap division issue request something that looks like they're going to hide the lack of that is the property because of the more action on them. They all or at least the planning board for as you know all we are, I think we're making fantastic progress. Everybody's working with a lot of progress being accomplished. The one thing that helps out, I have a lot of liaisons from the board with the ask the board. The town would let us know debate or planning.
Great. Yeah. Maybe that's something to discuss right now. So maybe somebody just got the town board who this would always basically from designated to liaise does the planning deferred. If there's a question within, if you need an item follow up question, anything. Is there anybody on council who thought to do that like that in the council? Hank is already liaising as the ethics, the ethics.
Yes,
I guess you have to name a name.
I'll do it. Yes, I would leave
A name.
it.
Way
to do it. Been the mist.
He's the only one that he was head now. He had always said,
Yeah, I'll go with you, sir. Okay. I rear rank. I'll work. I will try to.
does anybody on the board have any questions for me? Go ahead. On the questions, change.
Get any further information on building across the
Yes. Matisse. Yeah. And I met, we had a conversation with him and provide me with documentation with our paperwork. We did just got a lot of documents going for him. I did, which I have, so in a cordial conversation with him. And what we're going to sit down and exactly what we have to do. So we're going to find out. As I said, what we just had the conversation with him, or along it, I know Cliff conversation, and a few of us sat down along together, and we have a pattern.
Date certain?
And
Does that mean get some dates? You have some,
well,
then during the process, we'll get
basically, what I'm doing is I'm in the process of developing what the questions I was in the process. I just want to ask, let's have a meeting.
Okay.
I don't want to say so, but as soon as I get something definite, so it's one question. I think I am anything to do with it's not time. Hopefully within the host we can. The next, any other questions?
Thank you for your report.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay, moving on to,
It was
Okay.
last month.
The sheriff.
Completed these cases. I have started the month. I do 2 rate issues, 20 that I 10-day notice prior non-renewal license, 110 for notice for this. And I received a call about like 6 orphans and baby kids, and I referred that resident to police.
thank you. And Leanne, do we have Leanne's report here?
No, there's
Leanne? Leanne?
Yeah, my report,
And
back in April, citation issued to the property owner of 1337 Randers Hollow, Copper. The 14th of this month, they're out in about 30 months, sure. I'm happy with the progress that they made. We had the boy, the son, he kept his word and he done more. So we're all those miles of marriage work. Now you can see the classroom. So the other thing is the rest still keeping an eye on because there's a lot of accumulation around my trailer. It's filled with a car that it's junk that should have been out if I know. But to check that property every month, and I'd have to be working on instead of the fund. Second thing is the new came in. It saved us over $100. Then with New York's rating code, it's all IC, international state codes, all IBC, National Building Codes, International Fire Code. So you have the new book. So he wants us to we totally wean up. State go from these old books off and break into the new books. We have them next to maybe we could go into effect until October now, 3rd active back in 2016. Some have changed that. Property maintenance, better definition on existing rundown things that all municipalities have problems building. Hopefully it's a little bit more that fight with code officers to more move quicker on these buildings and this is being held close building code, book got bigger, building plumbing, fire code a little bit bigger, and as Art said, we finally got the parents that we've been fighting on, and the bringer from Natalia's spine. I don't know where their own just kind of is. I'd like for him to say that. I don't even do so. John, he's on the same case, but for me, as Art said, with okay. And then we got what we were waiting on since December of last year with these guys, and not showing us any of our meetings. Lad really, it's like it's nothing to know if at us, and but that's going to be more. So other than that,
Have you done a site plan?
yes, is the paper.
Okay, because I know it hasn't come to the county.
Yeah, we're not yet.
Can't open, right? Come to do it?
They're ready to open. He told us to our place again. They're not. He said that he's not looking for a C or a C until it is complete. Plumbing is not done yet, so they're not getting nothing from it. And then so it's complaining. Not going to be, and it goes to the county. But DOT, he stated us that DOT was down. He's been working with DOT, and DOT was that you sign off, but you haven't heard anything from DOT on anything. They're signing off. So but we're going to stay on top of it and. That's how it rolls. And
There was, one other thing, the solar aspect, I forgot to mention. It's just kind of, New York's coming up with new guidelines for solar, next month. So it's kind of difficult for us to advance to reality without finding difficult. New York's got the guidelines.
I heard that too.
No.
Yeah, and I think Bill Rohr would be a really excellent resource for you. I think at Global County.
I didn't know if Amanda played it.
Oh, okay, well, I think she came on after I talked to him. I've never talked to Amanda, but if she's helped, then great. But, great.
Wagner's Hollow place. Did Dr. Brody have to get involved with that? Did you have a health officer? No.
Can I ask a question? Do we know what's going to happen with that burned out building on Failing Hill?
somebody bought that, it's gonna get renovated.
Oh, good.
Yep.
It's a
Bought
good.
Dingman, yeah, I think, or maybe Dingman. Joan knows him, remember?
Yeah.
Yeah, they ended up selling it, somebody did buy it, and their plans are to renovate it. By now, they don't have enough for it. Right now, they don't have, they wanna put an addition on it, and it's not gonna happen. So they're buying a smaller section down on the south, their structure be up to the house. But yeah, I bought it.
Wow.
Sitting there, yeah, it's boarded still, but once they do anything with it, if they tear it down and it sits there, then wait that 6-13 their month period, it's a non-conforming lot. Then they have to go in front of the board and do their whole spot to them, know that somebody did it in there.
Okay.
Thank you, Cliff.
Yep.
And Linda. Thank you. Okay. Moving on to supervisor remarks, I just want to thank the council.